Welcome to 60 Minutes with a Woman, the podcast where we sit down with remarkable women. In each episode, we dive into their journey, the challenges, the triumph, and the lessons that shape them. Get ready for raw conversations, inspiring stories, and actionable insights to fuel your own success. Tune in because every woman's story deserves to be heard. Welcome to 60 Minutes with a Woman, the podcast where we sit with incredible women. Today, again, we have an amazing guest. Welcome, Karey.
Thank you for having me.
Karey, today we have you here with us. We are going to speak about your skincare brand, right? You're the founder of HopaTheKarey, which is an award-winning brand. You have Beauty Box and Hoppy Skin. It's a natural skincare brand offering an innovative alternative to CBD, which is very innovative, right? CBD is all over, so we can't wait to hear more about that. But your journey is nothing short of incredible. It's filled with resilience, bold ideas, and powerful moments. And while today we're going to explore the fun and creative side of your brand, we are also going to dive into the reasons that pushed you to create this amazing brand. So thank you for being here with us today. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
Karey, let's get to know you better. Tell us about what is your story? Where did you grow up? What were your early influences? And what got you to fall in love with skincare?
So I actually grew up here where I'm sitting right now, not in this home, but on this lake in southern Michigan, about 3 miles over the Indiana border. So my early influences, really, I always knew I would end up somewhere in this industry, whether it was fashion or skincare. My sisters were both older than me, so I was left alone, most of the time because they didn't want anything to do with their six years older, So
Pretty typical.
I would steal their magazines, the 17 magazine and all of that, and I would go to my bedroom and I would just look at these magazines all day long, studying the fashion, looking at the ads. This is when I was 7 and 8 years old. I always had an interesting style about me. Total trendsetter. I would wear things that most people wouldn't, probably because I flipped through magazines all day long when I wasn't swimming or fishing, that's the diversity that stands behind me, because I'm actually one of the most basic beauty brands you'd ever meet, because that really just give me a fishing pole or a raft and I'll just float around the lake all day. But yeah, I've known I was going to be in this industry. And then when I was 15 years old, we could get hired at the outlet malls down in Indiana. But we had to work on a green card. Kind of interesting, right? Because I was from Michigan.
Yes.
So they gave us a green card, and we would have these rules to be able to work there. We could only work for 1 hour, then we'd have to have a break, something along these lines. But my first job was in a perfume store down there. So I learned all about the world of perfume at 15. So it's kind of interesting that now I'm 44 years old and I ended up in this industry. But I also, not just my beauty, I'm a high fashion ambassador and a personal stylist. So I started on Poshmark trying to get my beauty brand known. And now I have 133,000 Poshmark shoppers.
That's massive. That says a lot about your creativity and also your ability to start a business, because you need an entrepreneur mindset to really put that together. So we can already picture who Karey is. Karey, tell us more about how you started with the skincare, because now we know about the perfume side, the beauty, the fact that you're a designer, and then what you do right now is skincare. So where did you learn to, first of all, create a cream and those beauty products that you're now selling online?
So, interesting background. I traveled for 7 years working in high-end food and beverage. So I worked at a yacht club down in the Florida Keys for 3 winters, and then I would go north in the summers. I was in St. Simons Island, Georgia, and I got hired as one of the 13 mixologists for the reopening of the Cloister Hotel, which is now a Ritz-Carlton, in mixology. So I went through 3 months of schooling with the gentleman who trained the White House staff and their crew in mixology. I mean, it was no joke. We had to try things that were,
Wow.
yeah, we learned so much. It was 3 months of like serious schooling. I mean, one of 13 chosen out of thousands of applicants. How cool, right? So
Yes,
then,
that's incredible.
fast forward to approximately maybe a year following that, my dad passed away. And all I wanted to do is move home because I didn't ever want to have to do a red eye again. So
Yeah.
when I moved home, my sister approached me and she said, I've started a mineral makeup company. I want to open a store, but only if you work for me. Because she knew my sales, that I just got trained at, this bougie club and like sales and all of that. So having the knowledge of mixology that I learned down there, because we didn't have blenders. We had silver bowls with like forks for our frozen drinks. I'm not even joking. So
Not that I
everything was
know
done very
exactly what it's for,
precisely,
but
like very
okay.
precisely. We were trained in mixology. And really, if you, in the grand scheme of it all, mixology is the same thing as making skincare. Emulsification, saponification, it's just like making a drink. So basically, that's how I figured out the formulations. As far as finding the ingredients, that just came with a lot of research.
And I love that. I love the fact that you're not the type of person who bought an already made, pre-made cream or pre-made, serum or lotion and then rebranded it under your brand. You're really creating the recipe yourself.
I work with 4 labs. One and a couple of them I don't even know how on earth I came across these people. Well, it was because I found ingredients that didn't really exist, but they did exist at one place in New Jersey. So, but it was like searching and searching. And finally, and they never responded back to me either. So I thought, is this a Fuji lab? You know what I mean? Are they even real? But it was because of my brand name. They thought I was making beer. I'm like, no,
Oh,
it's skincare.
I
So
got you.
finally, they
Okay.
realized I was not giving up on this ingredient. White birch extract actually is the ingredient, and they reached out to me and they're like, "We have to know, like, what does your company do?" I told them, I'm like, I'm a startup skincare brand, and I really want white birch extract because it's indigenous to the state of Michigan. And I tried to even find ingredients that were indigenous to the high five states. So
I love this ethic that you have about your skincare. First of all, I know that this is something that you do for yourself. I mean, you are somebody who's very holistic. You always look for the natural way, and just being able to put that in a bottle and offer that to people, it's really awesome. So we now got a glimpse on this alternative you were speaking about, but I really want to give you the opportunity to tell us more about, because me, I know we had this conversation before, and I think it's a tremendous idea. Do you want to tell us how it is an alternative to CBD and how you discovered about it?
so here she is. That's the only glimpse you're going to get of the raw stuff because that's the sticky icky. That's my proprietary ingredient. And no one knows how I'm getting it into my skincare, okay, what form it's coming in. But I work with hops dealers where I get a special version of full spectrum hops, which then I add to my skincare, which the hops is the CBD alternative. So I discovered it while working in a brewery and taking a Cicerone, which is like a Cicerone is a craft beer like schooling. So in the brewery I worked at, they wanted us to be like the best brewery in Michigan because this is a big brew state. And so they put us through like schooling and stuff as well. So while I was doing the schooling, I was doing a lot of research on hops. And so one night, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and it just fell in my lap. This study that was, I can't even find the study now. It was out of like Canada or something. And it was a doctorate study. And I was like, shut the front gate right now. Because I had already talked about starting the Liberty Collection because of the other things that were happening in my life. When that fell in my lap, I was like, I closed the book on that Liberty Collection. And oh, I got to backtrack because that's not even, it was the lip balm. So I was going through a custody battle. I was going through a custody battle with, at that point. So I asked our owner if I could make a lip balm to make extra money during the holidays that tasted like our flagship beer? And he said, absolutely. He said, but it better taste just like the flagship beer. So I'm searching and searching for the right ingredient to taste like the monkey mouth. And that's when it fell into my lap because the Liberties came later. So I closed the door on the lip balm. The lip balm never came to surface. I went and I bought a purple laptop and I drew my logo from the periodic table of elements. Closed the book on the whole thing so I could do more research and
And that
development.
represents the hop that you're using.
It does. I
Yes.
don't really have a large one because they're all, but that's my little guy right there. That's
Okay.
it. Then Beauty is Our Drug came later because I mock a lot of things. And so that's actually built into the logo now as Beauty is Our Drug. And I'm the local's best new favorite drug dealer because makeup and skincare is like a drug, you know, expensive and addictive. So kind of funny. But yeah, so that was the initial finding. And then, like I said, I put it dormant like a hop. And then I created 250 products around that so that I could keep the vision alive.
It's wonderful that you're able to actually take from every experience you went through and combine all of that into what you do right now. It's like, this is the entrepreneur mindset I was telling you about. It's about nothing goes to waste. You just recycled absolutely everything you learned and made it yours. And now you share it with everybody else, which is pretty awesome. Do you want to tell us more about your journey with Liberty now? Because now you spoke about it. We need to hear about it. We need to know what it is all about.
So the first two collections that I created underneath the Hop Head HopaTheKarey skincare line, which was founded in 2017, was the Liberty collection and then the Bulletproof Mineral Cosmetics. So the Liberties, Little Liberty, I started for my daughter, Viola Shalom. She was 7 at the time, I want to say. I do believe so, 7 when I started the brand. So it was a smart start skincare, very clean, no anti-aging. You know, there's ingredients that fight free radicals, of course, but there's things that teenagers and young people do not need to be using on their skin. And sadly, you're seeing them using it right now.
Right, because it's true. A lot of the young people use the same skincare than older women would use. They probably don't need all the ingredients that are in it. Well, yeah.
They don't. So that's why I started it super simple 2-step process. So the first product I created was actually called Wash Away Yesterday.
Wash
I needed a
away
cleanser.
yesterday.
Wash away
Love
yesterday.
it.
That was it. And that was before the Liberties. So then on my way to Indiana, I was, my mom's husband used to drive because I had a multi-state custody fight. And he used a state we didn't live in. So we had to go to Indiana quite often. And my mom's husband would drive and she'd sit in the car. I'd sit in the back on my purple laptop. And I would actually mock everything that I saw happening in the courts because I couldn't even believe it. So the Liberties were born from a day in Indiana in the back, heading back to Michigan to where we actually, my whole family, all of us
Yes.
live. So Little Liberty was the first.
Little Liberty was for younger girls.
For my
and
daughter,
then,
Viola Shalom.
okay,
That's her
and
collection.
then Lady Liberty is for, okay.
And the silhouette is actually Viola on the, so I used us in the branding for the most part. I made her silhouette. So she is Little Liberty. Little Lib,
I love that.
Little Liberty. And so then Lady Liberty is for the more aging skin. So there's the Vital Drops, vitamin C serum, which you could use the vitamin C serum as a teen. I would recommend that as well. But I try to keep it simple and affordable because affordable is the big one, especially for single moms and anyone, you know, who's buying for their teenagers. It needs to be affordable. So I just try to keep it real simple, even for the aging skin. So then in the Lady Liberty, it's my Vital Drops, the solar charged C serum, which solar charging was coming big in the news at that point. So I know I could hashtag solar charged, right? And then I'd pop up in what everyone's talking about in the media. But then they're like, wait, I wasn't looking for skincare. I was looking to find out about solar charging, like vehicles, you know? So it's kind of a lot. Few of my products have that whole mentality behind it.
Oh, I love it. Listen, I felt it.
So, and then there's the statue cream. So the statue cream is our slogan at that point. So then I came up with the slogan, life happens, don't let it age you, be statuesque. I didn't smile very much because there wasn't really anything to smile about. And I had gotten a complaint at work that they got the best service ever. There should be no complaint there. I'm sorry. If you got the best service ever, best food ever, there is nothing to complain about. But the server seemed like she wanted to jump off a bridge. Like, look, I looked like I wanted to jump off a bridge. Well, if you knew my story, you probably would want to jump off a bridge too. And
Yeah,
maybe
we're
I
gonna
did at
we're
that
gonna
point.
speak about this soon. Absolutely. People are definitely you're all going to understand what is happening. It's not even exaggerating the situation. So yeah.
To create a brand called the Liberties, something's going on. So nonetheless, that's how the slogan came up, be statuesque. Because I just couldn't even believe it. I was like, what a complaint, right? And the manager didn't even want to give it to me. He's like, I have to, because complaint's a complaint. You need to start smiling. I'm like, listen, no, I can't do that right now. So that's where the whole slogan came up. And then there's Lady Justice. Lady Justice is the everything collection. I kind of took justice off the table. So I really don't even, I have one product still hanging that I have left. It'll end up in a beauty box. It's Lady Justice, um, bath salts, pure jury, because you're purging,
Purging, yeah.
like you're detoxing, but I called
Yes.
it perjury, like perjury in court,
Yes.
lying, which is lying in court. So, anyways, so that was the Liberties, and then the Bulletproof Minerals came along as my mineral cosmetics, which is actually the product that made me an official brand. So these all did launch out in Manhattan.
And do you want to tell us what happened when was the story in New York City?
Yeah, so I was here and I really wasn't even doing much with my skincare, but I was still doing social media with my skincare because I was never letting it go away. It's just I wasn't really actively selling it at that point. But I had everything branded. So nonetheless, I used to hashtag flying solo. So
Okay.
this place called Flying Solo finds me. And they're like, these are interesting names for these products. The mugshot ready photo finish, be ready to get framed. It's all spray cosmetics. You can't contaminate it. You can't oxidize it. This is makeup with no shelf life, folks. Just saying. So, anyways, I get this call and it says New York City. And normally I don't answer calls from weird places because it's usually spam. But for whatever reason, I answered that call. And this guy says, Hi, I'm calling from Flying Solo in New York City. My name's Battle. His name was Battle, actually, which was really interesting. And I'm like, this has got to be a joke. But I entertain it anyways because I'm like, this can't be real. They're like, we found you on Instagram, which that is a possibility, but still in my brain, I'm like, no way, this is not going on. And they're like, we're expanding our store in Manhattan to now offer a beauty area. And we'd like to hear your story because your products look very interesting. The Liberties, bulletproof minerals. So I give my story and they're like, yeah, we knew that you had a story. So they said, the next step is we need you to submit products to our global board, and we will give you a yes or a no on Monday via email. I waited all day at my former neighbor's house because I used to live across the lake with my kids on the drive. And I go over there. On occasion, I'm leaving. I'm going on the other side of the pond. I'll tell Doc. So I go over there and I'm hanging out with Joe, waiting all day long for this email. Never comes, never comes. I'm like, well, that was pointless. 11:59 at night, they sent me the email. Congratulations, you're accepted. I was like, shut the gate right now. This is some
Oh my
crazy
God.
stuff. So, yeah, I launched right on Broadway next to Barney's New York, the Liberties and Bulletproof Minerals. And the irony is, when I was creating these collections, I worked at the brewery because I worked there 5 years. And I would go to work with these products. Try, try my new product out. I'm telling you guys, the Liberty's going to launch on Broadway someday. I didn't really think the Liberties were going to launch on Broadway someday, but I didn't even try. It happened. So crazy, right?
See, you manifested it in your life.
I did. I definitely manifested it. The things that followed that acceptance, I didn't even know I became an official brand, though, by getting accepted to sell my products, in the city of dreams.
It's just to say how much of the process needed to happen in your brain because the opportunity was so huge. You did not even realize that this was it.
You figure I started this brand, founded it in 2017. This is 2022, November, because I launched in um, the spring of 2023 on Broadway. So November, so next thing I know, this all happens. I'm accepted. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to get these products ready. And they've got to be on Broadway by March 1st. Then Amazon's in my inbox. And they're wanting, I don't even shop Amazon, okay? I was like big thrift shopper because come on, my Poshmark store, I was finding Gucci and Versace and stuff like the real deal for cheap so I could, flip it like the song. Anyways, so Amazon is wanting me to apply to be an influencer on their platform. And I was like, okay, why not try? Because everything else is seeming to look good right
Wow.
now. So I apply to be an Amazon influencer and I get accepted like immediately. I'm like, but what do I do now? Because I don't even know. For one, like I've never been an influencer. I just make these videos myself. And so I found some pages and on Facebook, Amazon influencer. I just decided to go find groups. And that's where I connected with a ton of brands. So now I work with 600 global brands. Um, I just got scouted by another platform called Chit Chat Shop. The suit actually, which is really cute. And so I'm going to be going live on their platform.
The swimming suits?
This is a suit underneath here. Isn't that great? It's a one piece too. It's very like modest, perfect for all ages. So and it works as an under, so you're not bra straps are tacky. You don't
It's
do it. So
adorable. It's very cute. I love it.
yeah, it's almost like a terry cloth. So yeah, Chit Chat Shop. And then there's Sticky Brand was my first actual brand partner. So then this guy reaches out to me on Instagram and he's like, let's have a Zoom. I'd like to become brand partners with you. I'm like, what the heck's a brand partner? Because I don't know anything. I'm like in the blue here. And then Redemption Shield, this 5G protection brand, reaches out to me. They want to become a brand partner. So now I'm all of a sudden doing Zooms with people, sitting right where we're sitting actually right now. And I'm getting this free stuff in the mail to like give me actually something to talk about on Instagram. Because otherwise, really, you know what I mean? It gave me a reason to start creating content. Because now I've got these things to create content around versus just look at me in my, cheers, here's my coffee kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you were able to gain experience from all the opportunities that were offered to you, and they were offered to you because you were meant to be offered those opportunities. That's also the thing. It doesn't always happen to the people who wanted the most. Sometimes this is just what was supposed. This was just your path. So I love it, and I know you embraced it absolutely. Completely. And the other thing is you are a fast learner. And this I've noticed. You're somebody who sees, okay, so what's going on? We are supposed to do this. Okay. And then you're going to get better at what you are learning to do. And then you're just going to excel. And this is something that not everybody has. So opportunities probably kept on pouring on you because you were somehow bringing them to you through, showing up for yourself like that.
It's been a wild journey, let me tell you. But now I'm actually devoting a little time every day to helping to grow other people. So I have some friends who, I mean, if I can do this, really anyone can do this. Maybe not this, but you do know what I mean. Anyone can take their dream and make it reality. So for instance, like I have a really great friend who was a chef on a yacht, but I met her while working in the Florida Keys. And she's just this amazing woman who just married a diamond dealer and they have their dogs and she lives down in Naples, Florida. And she would be an awesome person on YouTube teaching people how to cook. She was
Oh,
a
wow. See?
chef on a yacht. So she's already like changed her handles across the board because that's one recommendation I got early on is to become one. You have to be your brand. So that's where the HopaTheKarey was born. So we spoke of all the skincare and how that's Hop Head Apothecary. It can get kind of confusing for people. So the umbrella HopaTheKarey was born, and that's who I am across the board on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So that's what I've been teaching her is to kind of get out there. And so I'm empowering other people, if that makes sense, and trying to help my homegirls along the way to kind of grow them into something.
Shout out to you for that. It makes a lot of sense. It doesn't mean that people do it. A lot of people reach the top or just, just dive into the blessings and are not, always making sure that they are sharing that amazing time with people or even just mentoring, giving free information so people can also rise with them. Once again, I always say that, but this is what a podcast is about. It's about giving, telling story, giving free information and insight that can empower the listeners. So yeah, empowering people is not a reflex for everybody. And it says a lot about, once again, the heart you have. It's amazing that you're able to do so much. And I want to speak about all the blessings you had. I'm just gonna go and keep on going because Amazon reached out to you right after the brand on Broadway. Not only that, because you actually got featured on Pitch Your Way to the Top.
That came after it all. So it just all kept going, and just like it's like a freight train. I can't even explain it. So then I launched the products on Broadway in March. Went on a kind of weird camping trip for a little bit in June, May of that year. Because when good things start happening to you and you have haters, the guns are pulled out. I'm just saying. So they start doing things. So nonetheless, I just kept rolling with it. I didn't, they're not bringing me down. If they haven't done it, they're not doing it. They're not bringing me down. So yes. This is one of my sayings, watch me rise and I'll watch you fall, mother truckers. Mother truckers. Thank you very much. So anyways.
Thank you for not getting us censored here.
No, that's why I made sure truckers, because that is how I say it too. You have to, sometimes you just have to make jokes about it and just keep living. So, I launched the products, and then that summer I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do, but I always pop back up in like November, whether it's shows or whatnot with the skincare. So I moved out to, I called it Camp Diane, and it's like this crazy, they're church friends of mine. I moved out there. They have a saltwater pool. They live on like all this land. They taught me how to can. They taught me how to garden. They'd go TikTok live with me. We'd get so many views, just like the three of us just making whatever we were doing in the kitchen. So I did. I called it Camp Diane because it was almost like a therapy camp too for me, being out there with them. So my mom calls me one day and she said, "Hey, will you go to the Westwood with me? I've got to do a secret shop at the Rue 21 because my mom does all these little things to make extra cash. So, a secret shop where you go in and
She's a secret shopper. I love
she's
that.
the Hallmark lady, actually. Literally, she's the Hallmark lady for all the years. She's the one who goes in and makes the cards all pretty, but she also on the side, her side hustles are she does secret shopping, and she's a side hustler. I'm not kidding you. More power to this woman. So she said, but there's nothing at Rue 21 I'd want. So I'm sure there's something because you have to buy something. So I was like, Rue 21, not the quality I really care for, but I'm like, maybe some underwear or something in there. Because growing up, we weren't allowed to buy Rue 21 because it was known for losing stitches. And my parents would have rather bought quality versus quantity, if that makes sense. And that is a motto I live by.
That's a good philosophy. Yes.
Day. So nonetheless, I said, okay, let's do it. So I said, I also have a pair of Amazon shoes I'd like you to make a video for me for because I think you'll like them. They're nice walking shoes. So we go to the mall and she does the video with her shoes right outside Applebee's. And so then we go to the Rue 21 and I hear this loud door closing. And I'm like, what is that? Because I never actually worked in a mall like that, as to where I didn't know what a garage door was or a gate was like that. So I look over and it's the Bath and Body Works going out of business. I thought, shut up. I said, Mom, the Bath and Body Works is closing. I was like, that's unheard of. And it's one of the first ever stores too. So it was one of the wood stores with, I'm sure you were in a former Bath and Body Works.
Of course.
Red checkered
They're
stores.
all over. Yeah.
Well, now they're blue checkers. They used to be red checkers. They had to close all their red checkered stores. That was the last one to go because they did a lot of people in Jackson, Michigan. They are very ritualistic, let's put it that way. So they shop their store. They thought because the way it looked, it's natural. You know what I mean? Because they never came out and said their stuff is natural. But the look of the red checkered stores would make you think you're using something from your grandma's kitchen or something. So nonetheless, I thought, that's the answer. So I reached out to the Westwood. They stalked me for a couple weeks, or maybe they didn't get the email. I don't know. But it took them about 2 weeks to get back with me. And they said they did look at my brand and they'd love to have me in the mall. It was right before the holidays. This is 2023, right after the Manhattan launch. And everyone's telling me, Karey, that store's huge. There's no way you're going to fill that. You've got to rope it off, because they gave me a good deal on the suite. And they gave me a 3-month like temp, you know what I mean? Like to see if it
Yes.
worked out or whatever. So I just paid upfront for 3 months, and everything was like put in a little, the electric and everything was included in that to give it a test trial. So I was like, I'm not roping that store off. I'm taking the whole store and I will watch me figure it out. So sure enough, I filled that whole store up. Actually, people were laughing because they're like, what are you going to do now? You're growing out of your store. Well, the malls are dying. So I'm actually growing out of my store, if that makes sense. And I'm growing into my online stores
Yes.
because, we lost 3 more stores in the mall. So it's kind of like you have to weigh your options. As awesome as the store was, I also need to be out there with the people. So fast forward to the question that you had asked. So that's kind of the next thing that went on. But it played a huge part in what happened next. So then I get an email or something popped up through Target Marketing about this Kevin Harrington, one of the founders of Shark Tank, and for me to apply to be on this America's Next Best Thing, Pitch Your Way to the Top. So I am like, why not? I mean, thinking like, no way, but I wasn't. I never think no way, because why not? Why not give it a
But that's the
whirl?
thing about you. This is what I was saying. There is just like, you're always just doing it for the sake of doing it. And then you're not just hoping for the best. You're just doing it because that's it. Like, you're not thinking too much about it. And I love that about you. You're a go-getter.
My thought process behind it a lot, and it was totally, is it doesn't matter if they say no, but at least they see HopaTheKarey when they're seeing this. So that makes some people more aware of my brand, right? The right people.
Always see the glass half full.
Yeah, totally. So I ended up getting a Zoom interview for that one. And it was very interesting. And they said, we want you on the show. First one ever. So I was like, no freaking way. So then it gets stranger. So then I have to onboard to these because there's like a whole process. It's not just like, and I have to go to Florida for it. And then I have to do all of these classes before, because I don't even know what I'm really doing,
I
because
didn't know
it's a
that.
pitch, a product pitch, which I've done that. I just didn't know
Oh,
it's
they
called
taught you to pitch your product there.
Pitch Your Way to the Top.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got 10 minutes. They got 10 minutes. It was extremely crazy going down there. But nonetheless, let's give you the second, the journey of all of it. So I have my onboarding date, which is like maybe 3 days after the whole thing goes down. So I didn't just get that one Zoom that day. I had 2. The first, okay, that's right, because I almost didn't show up for the pitch because I almost didn't show up for that Zoom because I had 2 Zooms that day because it's a lot, because it's such a weird journey that it's been. But so right after the Harrington show accepted me via like email and all of that and gave me my onboarding date, another thing popped up, and it was for another reality TV show. I'm like, The Blocks, what is this? So I'm like, might as well try it. So I fill out an application.
So you had both at the same time. Okay.
This one wasn't a very weird one though, because I fill out the application thinking 2 shows, like, let's see how this one goes down. And I get a text message like almost like an hour later that I passed the written portion. Now I needed to sit down, or now I needed to do the video portion, right? Don't think too much about it, they said. Just answer the questions, and it's got to be done in video form. So I'm like, don't think much about it. I better just do it now. So I like sit down, I make the videos, I send them over. And I did add my story in there because if I'm going to be going to these shows, they got to know who they're dealing with here. And you know what I mean? Because I'm traveling. So
Yes.
I thought that's going to be the sinker, because they're not going to want anything to do with me because of the story, that I have
Yes.
lingering over my head. So I do the videos and I get an email the next day that I have a Zoom schedule. And it's the same day as Harrington's show. So
Oh,
there's as the Zoom. So the Zooms end up aligning the same day. So I'm not even joking. So this is crazy. So I do the Zoom with the blocks first. And they're like, welcome to the blocks. I was like, no flipping way. This is so cool. Like, I'm going to Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is insane for 7 days to learn from like these crazy entrepreneurs and classrooms and learn all this stuff. And I didn't know how cool Tulsa was actually going to be. I've met more connections out there than anything. I have a network of amazing people from my Tulsa trip. So nonetheless, 2 hours later, I have that other, and I'm on cloud nine right now because I just got cast on a reality TV show for entrepreneurs. I had my phone popped up on a former Victoria's Secret table actually, because I have all the leftover stuff from the mall, all the closed mall stores. So, anyways, I can't just not show up because I just didn't want him to say no because then I would have felt like I don't know. So I was like, but you can't just not show up for such a big Zoom, you know? So I grabbed my mugshot ready photo finish and I sat there and I zoomed in with the Harrington show and they cast me on that show same day. I onboarded to both shows on the same day.
wow.
So yeah, it was that was a crazy experience because my mom kept telling me you can't go to Tampa alone, Karey. I'm like, I'm going alone. I'm not bringing anyone with me because no one's going with me on this trip and going to ruin my day of like being on TV. Then I realized I getting a little cold feet. I'm like,
You need
maybe I don't
support.
want to go to Tampa all alone because I've never been to Tampa. Even though Sticky brand is out of Tampa, I could have connected with them, but I shouldn't be going to Tampa alone. I was being crazy. So because the blocks has a real structure when you go out there where they meet you at the airport, right?
Oh, okay.
You have a shuttle for you. Now the Harrington show, they gave you guidelines of where you should stay or whatever, but it was to us to get to the studio, which was out in the middle of nowhere. I actually was so happy I did decide to bring someone with me, but it was this girl my mom kept trying to make me friends with. And I was like, Mom, I'm good. I don't need this girlfriend, you know? And she's like, well, maybe Lynette would go with you to Florida. I was like, no. So then we're at potluck because my mom has a potluck every week and Lynette's there. And I'm like, maybe I'll ask her. Because I kept standing her up. She kept trying to go to happy hour for snacks or whatever with me. And I'd be, oh, I don't know. I'd tell her yes. And then I'd always stand this girl up. I just didn't need a new friend. So anyways, I'm like, so Lynette, you think you want to go to Florida to Tampa in 2 weeks? In 2 weeks, mind you, okay? And she's like, really? Because she's a school teacher.
Okay.
So she had the whole summer off, right? And I kid you not, that girl had the ticket bought that evening.
She's a real one. That's
She's my
perfect.
best friend in the world now, but you know how scary it is to travel with someone you don't know? I'm like, we're going to get down
Absolutely.
there and she's going to end up some crack seeking or something. Like, who
Well,
knows? You know what I
she
mean?
was
Like,
probably scared too. She took the shot. She's a real
we ended
one.
up, it was such an awesome trip. But when we got to St. Augustine, or not St. Augustine, St. Petersburg, where the show was filmed, it's in this industrial park. Like, we're looking at each other like, are we about to get robbed here? Was this like a total setup? Because everyone is thinking in their brain, like, my mom's like, I don't know, this just doesn't sound right. You know, it's
Yes.
sad that your family is the people who don't believe in you the most. So, nonetheless, we end up there. There's no windows because it's a studio and a recording studio. It was Forbes Riley's studio. I don't know if you know who Forbes Riley is, but
No.
you should look her up. She's really cool,
Okay.
motivational speaker, really all about pitch perfect, if that makes sense, perfecting your pitch. Um, so yeah, it was a real deal. And so we went in, 30 of us got cast. Trey, who was my concierge, who like let us, who would send us everything and onboarded us and all of that, he was checking us in at the desk. And the girl in front of me said, Trey, what group am I in? Because they had it set up where there was 3 groups and then 10 pitches per group. So it'd be, the group and then a break and then another group. So he goes, you're in one. And I'm looking at Lynette because I was like, I know there's probably going to be 3 groups because I'm trying to figure out how they would do it because they didn't really tell us. I'm like, but I guarantee if it's 30 of us that got cast, They're probably going to do 3 groups of 10. I was like, I don't want to be in group 1. I'd rather go like in the second group. So, because for one thing, my stuff got locked in a lockbox. I bought a vintage lockbox that was so cute. It was going to be part of my pitch. I was going to carry the cute little vintage lockbox up there, but I couldn't anymore because the maintenance guy at the hotel that we stayed at had to unlock my lockbox because my skincare was locked in the lockbox. It was vintage. They don't make things like they used to. I didn't have the key for the outside of it, and so it was locked in. So he actually had to like unlock. So the lockbox is now broken. So yeah,
All right,
super
way to
everything.
start. You must have been like, shoo, my actually entrance
Everything's
is
happening
ruined.
wrong. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
then we get to St. Petersburg, and I don't even have makeup on. I'm bulletproof minerals, literally no makeup on at all. I have a beautiful red dress I bought the day before because I was going to get something embroidered with my logo, but the place fell through. They didn't embroider my stuff.
Oh my gosh. You're just rising my stress level to the roof right now.
I went with no wardrobe to wear, and I'm a that's my big thing is my fashion with the beauty from the inside out.
Yes.
So I'm like, I know I'll find something in Florida to be able to wear. You know what I mean? So I did. I found the perfect red dress. I'm actually on Kevin Harrington's Instagram page for that. I'm the one walking my products, and that because it's because of the red dress. I know it because the red dress just floats so nicely.
It pops.
Anyway, so that it was just like one thing after another. So nonetheless, the lady in front of me, she says, "What group am I in?" He said 1. She goes, "What number am I?" And everyone's really nervous at this point. So no one's even talking to each other. Like it was a very weird entrance into this coffee room where we all had to be in with our Dunkin' Donuts bagels. You know what I mean? Waiting for the studio to open up for recording. No one's really talking. And so, but then by the end of the day, we're all friends, you know. So anyways, I said, "What group am I in?" And he goes, "Oh, HopaTheKarey 1." I'm like, I look at Lynette. I'm like, I go, "What number am I?" Because if he said I was going to be number 1, I was just going to like fall over right then, right? But the tanning mitt in front of me, they told her she's number 5. She ended up being 1. So they give us a layout of how the show is going to go, and I went in because the first group had to go into the recording studio, and I got thrown in second because the people who were supposed to be second weren't ready. And Trey yelled, "HopaTheKarey's ready, let's go." And someone says that, and you're filming a show. What do? You get up and you roll with it.
Yeah.
It was, I didn't even have my makeup on yet. I thought for sure I'd have a chance to put some bronzer on. So I put the mugshot ready photo finish on camera. So yeah, it was quite the experience pitching. It was like running a marathon. So yeah, that was a wild experience. So
And so what happened during that contest?
we pitched 10 minutes. They 10-minute questioned us. They were blown away because this girl from Michigan, Rudy Maurer, said to me this, and that's where we'll leave it. 250 products. But why though? I'm like, well, this is why though. Because I couldn't let that out of the bag because Johnson & Johnson is now going to have to buy this idea from me. They can't just take
Yes.
it from a loose lip on Instagram. See what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that's why the 250 products behind my brand. But I actually told him instead of that on the pitch, I said, "Have you ever read the Estee Lauder story?"
Okay.
Her whole entire background of how she got started being the leader in the industry, you know, and she kept it in the family real tight. Anyways, at her eulogy, they said Estee Lauder was the last of her kind of women creators who bring, like you said, I'm not ordering from a white label company and putting my label on it.
And this is what they do. I mean, I don't know if they're still doing it because she probably had been bought over by another company, but this is how she started.
Yes, Estee Lauder started. And the reason skincare has such a high price on it, to this day, we can thank her for that because they decided, we're making all this money. Let's add an egg to one whole egg to a jar of lotion. And we'll sell it for this much money. And that egg lotion sold out to the women. It's a very interesting lady.
Yep.
People
Yep.
don't realize that Estee Lauder she was the brand behind
No, I
the
didn't.
big brand that we know now. So anyways, that was what I let them know, that when they asked about how many products, I said, well, I'm going to be the next Estee Lauder. Literally, that's exactly what I said to them. So yeah, that's kind of the little bit there. So now here we are with beautybox.com and hoppyskin.com. So
Tell us more about Beauty Box. So what can we find in that box? It's a very exciting one. I know it's very popular.
it's really exciting. So in the box, I have a teaser box, which is $25, but it's $125 worth of products and other fun things. Because I am an influencer, I get sent some all court, all sorts of odd stuff, but it's a lot of times like little ones. So I can divvy it up and throw it in the beauty boxes so people can try some of the things I got from TikTok shop or from Amazon and whatnot. Cool little drinks, health drinks, primarily my beauty. But yeah, so that's that one. And then I have the big box. I'll just tell you two of them because eventually I do have the business plan is a lot more boxes. I want the wedding box. But you got to start somewhere. So right now I'm just doing it small.
Mm-hmm.
So the ultimate box has a little bit of everything from my storefront shopping experience, from some Michigan made magnets that are painted, maybe a pretty silk hair scarf, maybe a pair of cool sunnies, a lot of skincare, my body indulgences, bulletproof minerals, cool makeup tools. So it's $60 right now. I'm doing it on Poshmark. I'm doing Poshmark lives with the beauty boxes as well. But it's going to be $250 worth of this and that, if that makes sense. So a little bit of
It's a
this, a little
surprise.
bit of it's all mystery. But I can tell you
Okay.
what, whatever the mystery is, I assure you it is going to be the happiest mystery you ever got. I did a test trial in my storefront, and a mom came in. She bought one box, went and checked it out first, came back and bought me out of boxes. That's when I was like, I got to do something with this beauty box. So I looked up butbox.com and it wasn't taken. So I was like, okay. It used to be a skincare brand though. And they went belly up because they never really did anything. And so that
So you took it over.
their website went dormant. Hoppy Skin was never a thing because that's me. I am the Hoppy Skin girl. I am Hophead
That's your
Apothecary. So
trademark. Absolutely. This, if now you haven't understood by now that this is the secret sauce, this is what she has that is completely different from all beauty skincare brands. This is the one, is the hop that she discovered and that she is integrating into her beauty products. I forgot to ask you something. What are the benefits of the hop?
So hops carries a blockchain of 10 terpenoids that
Mm-hmm.
are identical to cannabinoids that make up CBD. So, for instance, I have brushed my teeth with this stuff, and my mouth is numb for 2 days. I'm not kidding you. It is like Novocaine. So, for a top pain topical, I have this stuff called the Blue Ice, BLEW Ice. I have the best testimonial from someone with a prosthetic, 2-year-old surgery. He said he's used every pain topical under the sun. Nothing's touched it. He's my number one customer for the Blue Ice. It's huge.
Oh, wow.
So it's a pain topical, which it's the irony of that is my dad was a pill addict, an opiate addict before opiate addicts were known to be a thing. That's why he passed away at 53 years old. A doctor never gave him a topical solution ever. And, I don't know that he would have used one because he got so hooked on the internal. But topicals are a big deal. So the pain aspect. So there's also the sedative. So totally dope. Wrinkle Sedator is my hemp-free, completely hemp-free. The stuff does not have any hemp oil, no CBD, no cannabis. But I do make fun of the cannabis industry by calling it totally dope. And I love when people come in and they're like, we need some dope because beauty is our drug. So this is actually instantly will put your wrinkles to rest. So it's the same thing as my Vital Drops, which is on the Liberty line, which is my anti-aging like powerhouse serum, but this has the hops additive. It
Okay.
also takes away a headache. I didn't know that because
Oh,
I don't get
wow.
headaches, but customers started being like, this is the craziest stuff ever.
That's a powerful skincare brand that you have there. It goes beyond just looking beautiful. There is a lot of benefits that are about feeling better.
It's amazing because it wouldn't be huge if it wasn't doing something for the people, right?
If you didn't have this double,
So
yes.
finding the alternative is huge because a lot of people do not want anything to do with cannabis. They can't. They could be drug tested for their jobs, you know what I mean? And if it goes, what you put on your skin goes in. And that's why I'm an ingredient junkie because I make sure that there is no junk in my skincare. And even if it's in the beauty boxes and it's not my brand, I've researched that brand. And if I wouldn't put it on my skin, I wouldn't have my people put on their skin, if that makes sense.
There you
So yeah,
go.
the hops is a big one. And the other product is the eraser. Eczema, rosacea, acne, fast relief. So I spelled it like a race car, like
Yes.
eraser. So
Oh, I
yeah,
see it. Yeah.
because the myrcene terpene is a miracle for eczema, rosacea, and acne. You cannot grow bacteria in a humulone state. It also works as a natural preservative in product. So your product's never going to go bad because you can't grow bacteria once the hops is added to these products. So that's really cool, right?
Absolutely. Oh no, I understand why everybody wanted to know more, learn more about your brand. It's a powerful way to use nature into a bottle. I love that.
Yeah, some people see nature. I literally, everything I see in nature, I see skincare. I've even researched skunks because I was curious if pheromone we're using isn't possibly coming from something like that. Because dogs are, for whatever reason, are always attracted to skunks. That's why they get sprayed.
Oh, they're attracted. Okay, this I didn't know. I thought you just wanted to play with them. Okay.
I researched skunk because there was this big fat skunk laying in the yard one day at my mom's house. And I was like, I'm going inside. But then I start doing a research project because literally everything I see skincare. It might not be good for you, but yeah, a scientist actually did. They figured out how to take I believe they call it a secretion from the skunk. So nonetheless, yes, everything I see in nature is skincare.
You can see the purpose that it could serve. I love that.
Mhm.
Karey, we are reaching the end of this podcast, and now I really want to. You're so cheerful, you're so colorful, yet the story behind who you are is almost impossible to overcome. You did it. I still don't understand how you're doing it every day. Do you want to share with us how you started your skincare brand?
So the Liberties were born, like I had said, during a custody battle, a multi-state custody battle, because he used a state that we don't live in, Indiana, to fight me for custody of my kids in a county he never even had residency in. I found out later there's reason for that, that they even would hear a case that it's against the law, it's against everything. We all lived in Michigan. In fact, my youngest son, Indigo, was born in Branch County, where I'm sitting right now. So nonetheless, things started going good in my life, and they did not like that at all. So in 2017, they followed us. My mom, and I moved in with my mom. She ended up being my co-parent. So that, and also so I had a witness for everything I did, so they didn't frame me for something I didn't do. Because I do know people who have spent time and got exonerated by the state of Michigan for crimes they didn't do from similar people like him and his wife. So nonetheless, I walked into the brewery, and about 10 minutes later, I got a frantic phone call from my mom that he had followed her to church, and they snatched my kids with no witnesses, drove off to the state of Indiana. So it took me a year of fighting to finally see him again. I went through some therapeutic visitations in 2018, and then we went back to the custody order that we had out of Indiana, which was equal parenting time. Um, so fast forward to 2019. So now I've got all this going on. My kids started Poshmark with me. Kai became an ambassador with me at 10 years old. We were killing it, all because of a pair of Versace sunglasses that I bought him for his birthday. I paid $20 for them. And I told him, if you want to start that Poshmark store, you can keep these or you can sell them. I said, but don't you dare sell these Versaces for any less than $100. So he texted me from my mom's phone while I'm working. He said, Mom, I decided I'm going to do the Poshmark store. I'll put them up for $100. He sold those Versaces for $100 in one day. I always laugh and say, man, my kids are the ones who brought Versace shades back for real, because Versace was completely dormant at that time, and we were all over rocking our Versace. I was fighting for cheap. So nonetheless, that was like the best year ever, because I got to spend so much time with my kids, and we really just did that. I'd go to work and I'd just come home, and we did it all together with my mom. My mom was always there, a big part of it. So then the day after my birthday in 2019, 5 minutes after I got to work, same phone call. This time there were witnesses, which is mind boggling to me. A lot of witnesses, actually. Um, he had taken them from school the first year, so my kids weren't being educated. Indigo, my youngest, has a 2-week education because he took them from school to keep them for keeping me from being able to use that very expensive custody order that we had out of Indiana, giving us joint time. Because if they were in school, I could have went there. Everyone knew. So he took them out of school, held them captive in Indiana until he finally hightailed it to Michigan. Nonetheless, all the courts know all this stuff too, so it's mind-boggling. And there's witnesses. So yeah, 5 minutes after I walked into work, the day after my birthday, the day after my 38th birthday, he rolled up on my mom at the library. She was at the library teaching Indigo how to read because Indigo didn't know how to read because he has a 2-week education. And he's so smart that he should have not been being taught how to freaking read. So anyways, she calls me frantic and I knew it. I was like, oh my gosh. It was just, so yeah, he rolled up at the library courtyard right in Jackson, Michigan, shoved my kids into a vehicle using his wife, who spent 3 terms in prison, Cook County, Illinois, a son that they also have kidnapped from another mother. He was only 15 at the time, so they used him as an accomplice to get, because it was 3 for 3. They bumped, they rushed my mom at the library courtyard. On Once they left there, they were going to go to my family reunion too. So my kids never got to see my grandma and grandpa, which is kind of a huge deal ever again because now they're gone. They died 10 days apart from each other. And the one was my grandpa was one of the 13 engineers chosen to build the original DeLorean. So let me tell you, he was a pretty awesome person to know. So the fact that this man took them and that's, yeah, it's totally messed up. So through that all, I had to wake up every day, wash away yesterday, throw my skincare on and roll with it. I have one more saying that I've got to get out there. Attorneys, skincare are like attorneys. You got to buy it, try it, and hope to God that it freaking works because otherwise it's just an expensive mistake. So that is a saying that is, and this is my sayings because I watched it all in the family court industry. So yeah, that's the story behind the brand. It's why there are the liberties here. Bulletproof minerals, mugshot ready photo finish, bulletproof because I am literally bulletproof. I've dodged more bullets than most people could ever even imagine. I actually dodged one in Florida, right on the beach.
Really?
Literally, there was going to be a shootout on the beach and it got busted right there in front of us as we were getting ready to walk to shore. I have the videos of it. So pretty wild. When I say I've dodged bullets, I literally. So that wasn't the children's father. At least I hope not. But
Your children, you haven't, I just want to put the emphasis because you told me about this story and it's very, I can't even fathom or comprehend this situation, honestly. But you haven't seen your children in how many years now?
So it's been 4 total years because then Michigan found him living up north, way up north. And Michigan's a big state. And the court dates or whatever, because then COVID happened. COVID messed everything up. So then they give me the therapeutic visitations in Traverse City. So I was driving to Traverse City, which is a 5-hour drive, 4 hours. I'm there, and then 4 hours back every Wednesday, toting baskets of life to try and have an hour with my children. I showed up one visit. I drove all that way. Guess what? It was canceled. 2 minutes after I arrived at the place, he called and canceled the visit. Then it started trickling away. One kid would show up. So that went on until no kids showed up. And that's not momming. Okay. That was almost like harder than anything. But at this point now, it's been 4 years. I don't know where they are at. I don't have a phone number for my children. I pay him child support every month because he orchestrated all of this. He knew just what he was doing. And, women do this stuff all the time. They do. You hear men that have not got to see their kids because vindictive witches is what they are because kids have 2 parents, right? Or they wouldn't have made it on this earth. They need to know both parents because it doesn't matter who or how, you know what I mean? Like, I would have never, ever, not ever let them see him. I would have never done this to him. Would have I limited their time with him? Absolutely. Because if the guy wasn't a total jackass, I would have stayed with him. I have 3 amazing children with him, but now he has 12 kids. So, it's like, I know that in the end, I'm going to end up selling this brand out, and I'm going to get the justice we can afford. And me and my kids will live on vacation someday. My adult kids, because now he's taking their childhood from me. So
Thank you for opening up. Thank you for sharing so much. It's a reality that I wish nobody have to go through ever, especially not a mother. I know you mentioned fathers go through that, and I get it. But the thing is, the pictures that you have of them on your Facebook account, when I see their smiles, when I see you guys working together, on your Poshmark thing, and how happy you all look, it's just a terrible situation. And I wanted to bring this up so people could understand really where the motivation was coming from. You're a real person. You pour your heart into everything you do. I want people to understand that whenever they buy your product, you're supporting a real cause, because this is just who you are. You're not doing this for, personal profit. This goes beyond what a skincare can produce financially. There is a real serious cause behind it. And once again, thank you so much for opening up on this. I'm really hoping that everybody's going to understand and feel and want to learn more about you. Tell me more about how to reach out to you. Tell me more about the websites where we can buy your beauty products. Tell me more about your social media, everything we can reach out to you. Every mean of, on internet, we can reach out to you. I will add it in the description down below.
okay, so HopaTheKarey across the board. So on Instagram is my main hub. That's where I recommend reaching out to me if you're having questions about the products directly. I run all of my own socials. I do everything. The websites still have a little tweaking to do, but it's hoppyskin.com and BEYOU, like BUT box.com. Those are the 2 websites. Then on Poshmark, I'm HopaTheKarey. You can actually just Google me. I'm not kidding. I mean, I love when I get to say that because it's true. I'm everywhere. TikTok, yeah, I'm just HopaTheKarey across the board. And then the 2 websites. But I actually am starting a podcast of my own called
Yes.
Lawless to Flawless. So Lawless to Flawless is ingredients to live by. So it's going to be basically discussions on ingredients that are found in skincare that you want to avoid like the plague. Oh, I'm gonna start saying that you want to avoid like the coronavirus because the plague was kind of anyways, so yeah, and then just ingredients to live by too, life ingredients. Like
So it's going to be an educational.
I have 1 episode out there, but I had to learn it's not easy. What you do is not easy. It's a full-time crazy job. I give more credit to you than I can even, because it's a lot. It's like I had to almost do my 1 episode just because I gave myself a deadline and it had to be launched that day and walk away from it for a minute just so I could regather what I mean, what I'm doing here so that I don't launch and lose it. You only get 1 chance.
Do you post on TikTok as well?
I'm on TikTok. I'm a TikTok influencer as well. So I have over 5,000 TikToks.
What's your TikTok?
HopaTheKarey. So it's HopaTheKarey, like my name.
Okay, perfect. Like I said, I will add everything in the description down below anyways. Karey, you also mentioned that you have a cool thing for us here. One of your beauty box is going to be given to somebody. Do you want to tell us what we should do to make sure that we have a chance to get that amazing box?
So I'm going to be doing a giveaway for any new followers on my social media platforms. So it could be TikTok, Instagram, or subscribe to me on YouTube and your box will be doubled. Just saying. The YouTube subscriber, if you win from that, you'll get doubled the box. So we're going to pick 1 customer following this podcast. If you go to my socials, like, follow, comment, and share a post. It doesn't matter what the post is. That would be Instagram or TikTok on YouTube, just subscribe. And you'll also have to share at 60 Minutes with a Woman. And you'll want to hashtag that as well. And you will be possibly the lucky receiver of a complimentary beauty box from yours truly.
That's wonderful. Yes. And once again, thank you for being here today. And I want to repeat it again, because you can't imagine, since our last conversation, I went over all the things that were wrong was this situation. And when it comes to kids, everybody is like that. You know, it touches us to the heart, because it's such a difficult subject. And I want to push again people to realize, first of all, the science behind what you do. Because, I mean, you pour your heart into your project because you know what you're talking about, right? There is a lot of, you're improving the skincare industry overall, rather than having this heavy marketing, flooding, our brains wanting the best possible bottle or this or that. You're literally providing us with natural products that are going to improve skin, mental health overall, even pain. It's incredible. And the other thing, once again, is the cause behind it. The cause behind it. I would never say it enough. And thank you so much again for opening up and then being so vulnerable on this podcast.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Karey. Thank you for today.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and keep building your own success story. If you loved what you heard, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it.